The end times are upon us. The signs are happening. The end is near, but don't panic yet. You may have missed the rapture, but there's still time to prepare for what comes next. Disasters, plagues, celestial malfunctions, consider them friendly reminders. Now's the time to prepare. From homemade hazmat suits to heavenly currency and trustworthy prophets, this guide has you covered. Because when the heavens open and the world melts, belief alone won't save you. The Tribulation Survival Guide. How to stay alive when everything else is dead. Available now on Amazon.
Western Christianity has spent the last 2,000 years telling everyone they're separated from God.
This is Not Church with John and Nat Turney and Bethany Shea.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Nat Turney. I'm broadcasting live from the back booth at Denny's with my brother John. We've recently extinguished our half-smoking Camel Wides and are waiting for a fresh cup of crappy coffee from the waitress who's eyeballing us because we've been sitting here since, it was about midnight, John, we rolled in?
Yeah, about midnight, yeah.
About midnight. Writing some songs, man. Tracking some music. And life is looking good. But as always, my brother, the bass player, John, is here with me. Say hi, John.
Hi, John.
Tell you. You're a dependable guy. Bethany, unfortunately, is on assignment somewhere. We sent her into the field. We'll catch up with her at a later date, probably. She's probably doing something altruistic and pastorally because she's a good person. But this is the podcast, man. We call it This Is Not Church because if it was church, actually at this point, you might stick around just to see what the hell is going on. It's going to be interesting. But as always, we have an awesome guest. And so I won't waste any more time with my shenanigans. We'll just jump right in. We're going to say hello to Stuart Delony. He's a former pastor, a current cynic, and future resident of the new Jerusalem HOA Complaints Committee, pending appeal. He hosts the Snarky Faith podcast and writes weekly columns interrogating faith and culture with equal parts wit and fire. He's survived megachurches, mission trips, and multiple theological detoxes, and I'm guessing several rapture scares. His book, The Tribulation Survival Guide, is his field manual. And that's his new book. I think it's coming out next week after, something like that. Pretty soon, right, Stuart?
Yeah, it's out right now.
It's out right now?
It is out now.
Don't listen to me.
I know. You can
get Keith up to speed because I think he was like coming. Oh, no, it was the audiobook that's coming soon.
It was audiobook coming soon. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, man, he needs to get off the schneid there and get on his game.
So wait, this is not church. Well, fuck. This is a great place to be then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, we're audio only, and they can't see your stained glass background. So they're like, what the fuck, man? This is not church. And why is he sitting in what appears to be a chapel of some kind? You are...
It's not real. It's not real.
It's not real.
It's green screen.
Just feeding those AI bots, you son of a bitch.
It is. They're hungry.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad that you're here. I should say glad that you're back with us. What have you been up to since the last time? It's been a while, but it seems like only yesterday.
It is. I think, actually, I don't think I've ever been on this podcast before.
Are you sure?
I have had each of you on Snarky Faith before as well.
That's true.
Is
that what I'm thinking of? We didn't have you on?
It is. It wasn't. I didn't have the brother package before.
Wow,
I just had you guys separately, like in the corners. Like you guys go to your corners and I'll talk to you separately.
Well, from the bottom of John's heart, we apologize for that. That's bullshit. We should have had you on. But I'm glad we're making up for lost time now.
Yeah. we're gonna have some fun with this. I feel like, yeah.
So what have you been up to since the last time we didn't see you?
Oh, it's been a lot. I was born. I graduated high school.
Okay.
I've had a family and kids and done all this stuff. But as for background, for those that don't even know me, I mean, I've like you guys, I think have been through the throes of churches and said, "Oh, I don't like this anymore. I want to keep going elsewhere." But continue to let my faith drive me into interesting places. And as a person that was in ministry for over 20 years, different denominations all across the board, I'm a person that has kind of deconstructed and kept walking, but still, I am here. And I'm still writing, I'm still challenging, I'm still pushing back on all the BS that's part of religion today.
Well, and apparently still pissing off all the right people.
Yeah.
Hopefully so. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way you get on this show, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You have to be either like super, super nice or have your publisher reach out to us. But Keith never does that because we do all share that brotherhood in common.
That's true.
The same publisher who is like, I don't know, go promote your shit, man. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. That's cool though. I'm glad you're back. This book has me intrigued as all hell. let's just jump off there. Let's talk about what it is to have a field manual to survive the tribulation, man.
Well, this came about for many of us that kind of grew up around. I've talking with people about this book. I've had people that were scarred from 70s, 60s. I was satanic panic in the 80s as well, in the early 80s and all of that. Yeah. So this is a field guide. This is the Tribulation Survival Guide: How to Stay Alive When Everything Else is Dead. It's written from the perspective that you are fucked because you missed the rapture. And this is what you need if you are left behind. So the whole goal behind this was taking all of this rapture culture and being able to tease it out to its logical conclusions, which once you do that, you realize how absurd it is. And so, it's a field guide, as if it's straight-faced. It's written like a government manual. It's as if you have been left behind, and these are what you need to do to be able to survive in the end times.
That would have really come in handy when I was having to endure, all the late great planet Earth bullshit. See, we started young, John and I. We got the full blown tribulation rapture stuff in the 70s with Hal Lindsey, and he scarred me forever. Never mind.
You guys got the deluxe package.
Oh Jesus, and the chick tracks.
Yeah,
and
Thief in the Night.
Was that
Thief in the Night?
Yeah, mm-hmm. Thief in the Night.
That's
and then there were the chick tracks, and then there were the comic books. John and I would go. My mom owned a bakery, and it was in the same sort of shopping plaza as the anchor store was a Christian bookstore. And so we would go upstairs to this little reading area, and this guy, they're going to get the kids first. So they would have these little comic books that would just scare the shit out of you with, all of their bad, interpretations of the imagery from Revelation. The grasshoppers that were, the giant locusts. Well, those are Apache helicopters. That this was this would have by then been like the early 80s. So now we're talking, everything has to be couched in whatever era you're in. So now it's all the Soviets, and the bear is obviously Russia, and the dragon is China. But so was your church life immersed in that same kind of bullshit, or did you avoid any of it?
I grew up fully, as a kid, fully around all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, my mom would drag me to tent meetings and revivals and stuff like that too. I was around weird, charismatic healing culture, but also at the same time being raised Southern Baptist because my dad was more Southern Baptist at the time too. So we had pulled in two different directions, but one of my main ones was, I remember it was this is early 80s, but I was a kid, and it was 2 months after Christmas. I'd gotten He-Man dolls, Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
And then I remember and then my mom comes she's like, no, these are all satanic portals. And these are all going to all of your Christmas presents. They're opening up portals for demons. And the only way we can save this family is get rid of your toys. And so, you go for those kind of things, and you go through a little bit of that. So it's all this culture is so scarring. Whether you for those that actually believed it too, just the trauma fuel that was given to people. You're going to come home and mom and dad may not be there because they got raptured, and you weren't saved enough, or you weren't saved the right way,
right?
Or what?
Right. You're going to have to endure whatever comes, the 1,000-year reign of the Antichrist. Which was always changing, right? Who was that person? That I remember when, this would have been the late 70s. And I'm just telling how old John and I are, but late 70s when barcodes became really more prevalent.
The mark of the beast.
That was the mark of the beast, because there was talk about, at some point they were going to, Bayer was one of the companies that was labeling all of their merchandise with barcodes that could be scanned. And they were talking about soon they're going to barcode you on your hand and your head. Who knew that at some point it would be the right-wing people who would have the symbols of the Antichrist on their heads?
What? Yeah, I know.
Didn't have that on my bingo card. Now they got golden statues and shit. It's they're fully leaning into this whole Antichrist narrative.
Which is insane, because all of this is it's just such a bad reading of scripture. All of this end time stuff. This is only from 1800s as well too. This isn't historical by any means, but it's amazing how they have their fears, or either that or it was some sort of end times cosplay. They've been walking this out. They've been making this want to happen. This has been their wet dreams, and they're oh yeah, it's coming.
It was. I dove into that a little bit when. So one of the first things that I really deconstructed was this, because it was honestly one of the, between this and hell, those two were the easier things to go. Nah, bullshit. I'm not buying this anymore. Hell was. I never really bought off on hell, and thankfully I grew up in a family that didn't really. Church scared us like crazy. Sunday school was a shit show, but it wasn't something that my mom and dad sort of preached a bunch. But they were scared. My mom especially was scared to death of the rapture. We grew up in Northern California, which is earthquake country, and every damn earthquake was rush into the room, make sure nobody got raptured, and mom got left behind. Or it was scary as crap. I remember doing at church camp one year. They cosplayed a rapture. Did you ever do that at church camp?
Yes, I remember something like that from a kid. Yeah,
like all the camp counselors laid their clothes out in the cabins and did all this stuff, and they're like, "Oh no, the thief in the night has come and we've missed it." And we're like, "No, I got to go find my mom and dad." So some of that, in all seriousness, was really scarring.
Oh, it was.
It was
absolutely.
And the results of that are, not beyond just the traumatizing of little kids, which should be fucking illegal, but also just that sort of more far-reaching effect on how you see the world and your place in it and what matters. And, it's all going to burn, so who gives a damn? So, yeah, not to put a serious spin on this, but I think
all of
this is needed for that.
Well, part of mine was I was hoping for people to be able to laugh through their trauma as a bit of healing going through this. But this is this kind of teachings, what it does is effective because it keeps people connected to their churches, can continue to come back to their pastors that have the secret information that nobody else knows about, but somehow they get. But what it does, like you'd mentioned too, Nat, was that it morphs the way that the way you view reality. It takes on this whole alternative perspective to where when you can see normal things with your eyes, you can see normal things, like your brain will process this, that, and the other, but you're told no, don't believe in that. Don't pay that much attention to that.
Yeah.
That there's more. That there's stuff that you can't see. And so what it's led to do is I feel like Revelation has been one of those books that has led to so much more either sky gazing or navel gazing. But it's been one of those things that has led people to, it really feels like disengage with anything that Jesus talked about. Yeah. Because, if the world's all going to hell and it's all going to burn, well, we don't care about creation. We don't need to really worry that much. We just need to get right and do what we need to do as part of our little church club. And then wait for Jesus to return.
It's all going to be okay on the other side.
Oh, it is. It is.
Well, and then, there was always the fear of which camp did you fall into? Were you post-trib, pre-trib, mid-trib? And, what kind of hell were you potentially going to have to live through?
Or even depending on if you listen to different people preaching, you'd be like, oh no, I don't know which trib I'm in or which one I am. So I need to worry about all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I have to worry about living on this planet with people cutting their heads off with guillotines. It's just,
I feel like we're there.
Well, yeah.
They're already erecting the scaffolds. What's coming next? I don't know.
Oh, what? Yes, we love it. We love our golden idols.
What's so funny fun. Is you said, what you said earlier, and John, I think you and I have talked about this a bunch, is this is fueling our Middle Eastern policy. So to take it on a serious note again, there are a bunch of weirdo, radical, outlier religious folks who are having a fever wet dream over what's happening in Israel and the Middle East because they know, at least in their theology, their eschatology, it's driven by things going to hell with Israel or Israel finally emerging victorious over the rest. I don't know how it's supposed to all shake out, but all of this is it's just going to manifest the end times for these folks. Right?
And it's a terrible reading of history and scripture at the same time.
Terrible.
Which is fantastic for both. Because I even believe they've even, I was reading something to where there's some folks that they had it was in Texas and somehow Mike Johnson was attached to some of this, but was getting they were needing to move red heifers.
Yeah.
All the way over to Israel because that they need to eventually do that to sacrifice it for the second or third or fourth, I don't know, whatever temple they're on now. But it was this kind of a thing to where they had to jump through all of these hoops because you can't even import cows. So they had to classify these as pets. to do this. So again, think of this. Like, people are like, I believe in this so much. I'm going to ship red heifers, because that's kind of what they believe in this, overseas. Like, what is that, going on a boat? That's not going on an airplane. How do you ship a cow? I don't even know. And then, but we need at least more than one in case one dies. And we're doing all of this just to set up these possibilities of this end times, like, wet dream that they're hoping that's going to happen. And it is insane that people are this gleeful about the apocalypse.
Well, and whatever the violence that's coming, they're hopeful about it. Yeah. So war with Iran seems to fit nicely in that little package. I wonder if they have to have multiple heifers, because it has to be like, I'm not sure what the rules are for sacrificing a bull. Are they the same? Does it have to be, blemish free?
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and assume here. You guys are Texas boys, so I don't know.
I'm a Texas boy. Only John is still in Northern California.
Oh, yeah, it's Northern California.
Where the people grow
John, you're off the hook here
and smell of patchouli. I'm out here amongst the. Texas is weird, man. So Texas has given you Joel Osteen, who's, he's like a benign tumor. It's irritating, but it's probably not going to kill you. But just in case, you were worried, don't worry. We have John Hagee in San Antonio.
Oh, God.
And
I forgot about him too. Yeah.
Is the granddaddy of failed rapture predictions, first of all, and also proof positive that it doesn't fucking matter. People will still buy your books. People will still flood your church. People will still listen to your anti-Semitic tropes, because I don't know why, because he's got them worked up into a lather, but his church in San Antonio is huge. And, he'll just write another Blood Moon book at some point and scare the hell out of folks.
I've always pondered this, and I don't know what you guys think about it. I think it almost takes more effort for the followers to stay there.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen in this date. Oh, no, the prophecy charts were off, and I'm going to adjust this a little bit, but keep giving, and now it's going to happen on this date. I don't know at what point, like, you would just quit. Or is it you were too invested, and to quit means you have to admit that you were an idiot? I don't know. What do you think? I
don't think they haven't read their Old Testament, because they should all be dragged out into the town square and stoned, because they've all falsely prophesied and spoken and they always do. John Hagee's the worst, because he always speaks as though he's speaking for God. He's not going on, listen, I've done the math. My calculations are, I think this is going to happen here. It's always like, the Lord came to me in a dream. And then afterwards, like, the Lord visited me and said he's going to have more patience with you, heathens. He's going to give you another, what was it, Lord? 72 hours. I don't know what it is. It's always something. I mean, even the Jehovah's Witnesses have stopped doing this, because after their 30th, I don't know how many failed predictions they had. It was a bunch of them. I haven't heard a peep out of Jehovah's Witnesses in a long time. We should reach out to our aunt, see if she'll come on and talk about Jehovah's Witness theology.
Do you guys have do you have lineage in the J-Hos?
I have. So my dad's sister, my aunt, who I haven't really had much of a relationship with since I was a kid, has bebopped around every fringe Christian group you can imagine. Okay. So when I was a youngster, it was Seventh-day Adventist, which, as far as fringe Christian cults go, it's fairly benign. I think she was Christian Scientist for a while, but for the last several years, she's been pretty diehard in Jehovah's Witness. So she's out there with her little. In fact, my wife and I were at a little place. We were at a state park in Minneapolis this last weekend, and there was the Jehovah's Witnesses out there with their placards. They've got their little thing hanging at their watchtower, and I'm like, man, it looks like a picture my aunt just posted of her and her friend in their, sort of look like they just came out of Little House on the Prairie frocks, and they're handing out these Watchtower magazines. And I don't know, it's a weird deal, but I don't know if it speaks to a deeper truth that we're all gullible as hell, or that we all just need something. Maybe I don't know. What do you think is the driving force of this, Stuart, that we sort of gravitate, not we, but a lot of people gravitate towards this?
Oh, I think you've already said it. I feel like it's certainty. I think that people, like, the world is very scary, and is very uncertain. And and being able to say that, hey, no one's going to come and rescue you in the end, and that we're on our own on this planet that's million miles, that we're operating on this planet in the middle of the entire universe, and that we don't know what's happening here. And it is scary. It is terrifying. Life is difficult. It is hard. And when you give people certainty and answers that say, I can tell you how it really is. I'm going to tell you This is the way the world really works. And if you just listen to me, everything's going to be fine. And for that, it can be absolutely comforting. It can give people comfort. It can give them stability. The problem is you're just feeding people lies and you're warping their worldview to just keep them where they're at. Because in the long run, is like the end times theology is very, very profitable. Like you'd mentioned Hagee and all these other people, like it's very, very profitable, and it keeps people going there. But I think it's the idea that especially Christianity now in America, it has been pushed for so long of just certainty over mystery, and being able to, like, theology is about telling you exactly how things are, or the Bible can tell us exactly how old the earth is, or the Bible can do all of this, which is never the function of what it was meant to be. But we tell people certainty, and they are able to go, okay, I feel safe now, and I can take out this. It's almost like they're lobotomizing themselves slowly. You know, it makes me feel better because I don't worry anymore, and I'll just continue.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's almost like a form of Christian nihilism, though, because now that I know where this ends and how this ends, I no longer have to give a shit about the from here till there. I just get to go, well, it'll shake out like it shakes out. However, I know I'm okay because I'm one of God's favorite people. And, you know, even if I have to endure a little tribulation, I do have to say before we go too far from the book, though, I really enjoy the snark story. It is so deadpan. I've been flipping through it for the last couple of days, and I'm just, it reminds me a tiny bit of the book that is given to the people in Beetlejuice when they walk up. It's like, so you've been damned. So it's not that, but it's like, you know, what to expect once you've been abandoned, and here you are. And I like all the little, the idea that I don't know, how to look out for the Antichrist and the problem with false prophets. And I just love, if you didn't know any better, you might just read through it and go, man, this guy, he's either a genius or something's really, really gone wrong.
Yeah, that was actually the goal. I mean, to some because I want it to be read by people that have grown up around this culture, that they would know exactly what's happening. But at the same time, I didn't want to be pointing fingers or like really punching down necessarily to make fun of folks that have been duped by grifters and charlatans. Because I feel like I've grown up in a family that was grifted by that as well too. And so I understand. And so I always wanted to punch up and not punch down with who we're making fun of in the book as well too. But yeah, I think it needed to be something that I wanted this to be slightly healing. But if you had no idea what I'm talking about and and you read things very straight, my slight goal was like, I want someone to read this and be like, okay, like you just said, this is real, or this guy's a nutter.
Smidgen of the population be like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing over at Choir these days, but man, they will publish anyone's book. You know, I do like one of my favorite ones so far is abandoned cars with Jesus as my co-pilot bumper stickers. I always, when I was a kid, those were very popular. Jesus is my co-pilot. That and honk if you love Jesus. The second one would get you flipped off, which I always found just tremendously ironic. But then the Jesus is my co-pilot thing, I did often wonder what would happen when that co-pilot has to take over. It's like, oh my God, or, you know, and I think Left Behind took that a little seriously, didn't they? Like pilots were disappearing, and they were like there's just like this total cataclysm. I think they overestimate actually how many people were going to be raptured.
Oh, and it depends. It's so funny how people get into the math of all of this as well too, because there'll be this many that's the remnant that's left behind, but this many will be taken, and all of this, and it's just great. I love it when people get super technical over stuff that there's no effing way to be technical about any of this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's like, the scripture obviously states that there'll be this number of humans, and it'll happen at this hour, and it'll look like this is all just it's weird prophecy that they're taking that was meant for something else in the Bible and trying to apply it here, which is the fun of John Nelson Darby as well too.
And the fever dream of was it Margaret MacDonald? There was a Scottish occultist who popularized this in some visions. I don't know if it's Margaret. I know the last name was MacDonald. So we're talking mid 1800s or so. I did a tiny bit of research for this section of my book when I wrote it, because that was one of the first dominoes to fall. I was like, this is so modern. This is so contemporary. If you go back through 2,000 plus years of church history, And if you even talk to people in mainline Christian denominations, the Methodists will laugh you out of church, right? They've never bought off on this. I don't think the Catholic Church really buys off on this. They got their own weird shit to deal with. Pedophiles in purgatory sort of occupy most of their time.
Are you talking about the RNs? Are you talking about the GOP?
Right.
Same.
No, they don't. No, they just do pedophiles and perjury. That's different.
Oh, okay.
Or perjury about
pedophiles, perjury, and crypto. That's all.
But I messed up I actually meant to edit in my book because I messed up that it was Schofield who included Darby's footnote or included his material in his footnotes in the Schofield Study Bible and popularized this like crazy. It took off. And, the 1800s were a time when people were really like diving into occulty sort of stuff and like spiritualists. And hell, Joseph Smith got his start and all that when he was, treasure seeking with seer stones and witching water with those little sticks. And there's all kinds of stuff that was like the 1800s were ripe for all of that. Weirdly sort of post-enlightenment. We're going to go crazy on the other side of it. So in all of that, we get this. And because a name like John Nelson Darby and Schofield are behind it, John and I grew up with this as like, this was just fact. This wasn't debatable. The only controversy was how it would play out and who it would affect. And there was a lot of infighting over the pre-trib, post-trib thing was a pretty hotly contested thing within our evangelical circles. And then, they fought over that. And yeah, go ahead.
That's a dividing line. So yeah, I've had that. Like I had to answer those kind of questions I remember when I was being ordained, and it was just silly. It's so silly. Like that. What you were arguing over the nothingness of a weird conspiracy theory within Christianity, and it matters so much. But it's like, oh my God! But this is a hill we will die on. We will die on this hill that is based on nothing. But
and all inside of a book that barely made the canon. John, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I don't know if Nat remembers our pastor from the 70s.
Oh, but
good. He
Larry? Talking about Larry?
Yeah, but I don't know how many times I heard him from the pulpits. He would preach that, not in my lifetime, but definitely in the next generation's lifetime, we will see the second coming of Jesus. So you must be prepared.
That's right.
And it was enough that it's been like ingrained in me, that I can remember him saying it. He didn't say it one time. This was many, many times over years of being preached to by this guy.
He took it so seriously. He took it so seriously. He cheated on his wife with his secretary and had to leave the church in disgrace.
Yeah.
I guess not my generation, he said. I guess I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, think of this. If we're only just sitting around like waiting for Jesus to ejaculate, like that's all it is. It's like we're waiting for the second coming of Christ. And so we're like, Jesus, when are you coming? Come on, Jesus, come.
The first coming? I want to know when that happened.
I don't know. Maybe ask Mary Magdalene. I don't know. But
just right around puberty. It was blasphemous on so many levels. If you stay with us this far, you're brave. It's just going to go. It's just going to get worse from here. We're irreverent. Isn't that another? Could that be a synonym for the word snarky? Irreverent.
I'll allow it.
So let me ask you this before I forget. You were ordained Baptist, or were you ordained in another denomination?
I've been licensed Baptist.
John was too.
Yeah, I was licensed.
Southern Baptist.
I don't know that they've revoked my license. They probably would if I actually went to go check. But I've been ordained and I have been defrocked as well too.
Why? Nice.
Yeah. So it's
ordained
it's
and
fun.
defrocked by the same.
Yeah. And it was lifetime ordination, which is really fun. When they're like, okay, we're gonna do, and the more fun part of this is the fact that I have no idea why. I have a clue, but because it was one of the things. If you've been around churches where they were like, well, we need to have a meeting with you. And this is I haven't even been acting in like ministry for like several years, but I'm still doing the podcast and everything else. And so they're like, well, we need to talk to you about some stuff. And I was like, okay, tell me what you want to talk about. Well, it's just better if we just do this in a group of people that we'll talk about this. Tell me. And it was one of those ones. If you've been around ministry long enough, you kind of know what a firing squad is. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sit in front of a group of people to have them fire stuff at me when I have no idea what they want to talk to me about. I was curious. It was either being pro LGBTQ folks, like being loving towards that community, or also could be, I swear on my podcast.
You son of a bitch.
It was. I was a piece of shit.
I caught hell for that too. I was never, I think I'm still licensed, but not to a denomination. I was a non-denominational guy. So I tried at one point I was going to get ordained in Foursquare.
Okay.
Just because I was working at a Foursquare church. But I don't know. They wanted me to go to school and stuff. And I sat through like one semester of their school, like upstairs in the Sunday school rooms. And I was like, this is just, are people taking this seriously? Like, what the hell is happening here?
Yes, they're taking it very seriously, and you should be taking it very seriously as well.
That's true. So, because I've worked for a Foursquare church.
Yeah.
Do they have any reputable like seminaries or anything for you need more schooling, or is it just more like we just need to take your money and it's not accredited, but we'll take your money? Okay,
let me qualify what I'm about to say with kind of. I want to say Fuller isn't Fuller Foursquare?
No. Fuller's non-denominational.
Okay. There is, because my boss was friendly with the guy who was the president of Foursquare when I was working there. And they do have a seminary in Southern California. And I probably should, air quote seminary. I think it's a Bible college. But then I've done this more than once. I'm gullible enough. I've done this more than once in my life. So I don't know if I'm sure you know the name Joyce Meyer.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joyce Meyer got her PhD from a place called Life Christian University, based out of like Lakeland, Florida, right? Well, at the time, they were like any church in America could have a branch of that school at their church. And so Tuesdays and Thursday nights, upstairs in the Sunday school rooms at the same church, at this other church I was working at, we would go to college. And it was awful. It was the most god-awful stuff. About halfway through that process, they got their accreditation. Well, they got busted by the state of Florida for using the word university in a thing that was clearly not a university. So they had to go back to call themselves, it was like, they changed it to Life Christian Bible Institute, or anyway. I never finished my degree. My wife actually did get her bachelor's degree from there.
You have to love it when they're like, we don't like you using the word school.
Yeah,
or education. What you're doing. The rest of it, you're fine.
Call it adult daycare or something. It was just a money grab. It was a money grab for the church to, charge you for tuition and charge you for books, and then say they had a bunch of degreed pastors on staff. In fact, the last pastor I worked for had done all of his work for his doctorate, and then had decided not to write his dissertation, and yet still kind of went around calling himself doctor. So, which I think is the height. Yeah,
I would say that this is, if we can give anybody advice, young Christians that are probably not listening to this podcast, because we're already we've lost them. But like, I would say never pay money going to an unaccredited Bible school or seminary or university, because that is a money hole, and it only matters to the denomination that you're in.
It does.
And it is just a waste, and it will never help you in the broader perspective of the world.
If you don't at least come out with a general contractor's license, don't do it. It will benefit you not at all. Yeah, it's awful. I wish I'd listened to myself. I'd be several $1,000s richer today. But I don't know. It is actually when I was probably in junior high school, I wanted to go to seminary, and I remember confiding. It came out to my pastor that I wanted to go to, not Bible college, I wanted to go to seminary. And he told me, oh no, you don't want to go to cemetery. That's where your faith goes to die. I'm like, oh. And to be fair, maybe so. I do know a lot of guys that came out of seminary going, you know what happened? I read the Bible and I can't do this anymore. Or at least I can't do it this way anymore. Seminary. I went. You mentioned Fuller. I went to Fuller, did my thing there, and I loved it. I thought it was great, but it also made me completely incompatible for doing ministry moving forward. Once I knew how to read the Bible and how to process things and do it differently, I was like, because they've called and asked me for money and stuff. I'm like, you guys were awesome. And I'm glad that this was probably way more expensive than therapy, but I learned from my experience of being there. But you have ruined me for ministry, so take that with what you will. It's nuts. I would have liked to, even now, I don't think I'm too old to do it. I just feel like I don't have the energy, but I wouldn't mind being at least familiar enough with Hebrew and Greek to not do what I did as a pastor, which was, go to Strong's Concordance and go, see this word, blah, 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 means this, this, this. And so now there's too many pastors who fancy themselves linguists and go out there and, grab a concordance, and a bad one like Strong's, and say, with any kind of definity, I made that word up, definitive, certainty. That's what it was. Definitive certainty is now definity.
So you have your master's in divinity.
Yeah, you know what? I thought about doing that too, man. Then I was like, it was at the school I was looking. It was like 100. It was like 100 credits or something. It was going to be like 30 or 40 grand. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? I could start a megachurch with no degree at all. And
oh gosh, you'd be better off starting a megachurch with no degree, because I feel like
well, and then just telling everyone that degrees are dumb, and there you go, calling everyone long-haired, book reading, whatever, just
maybe we could all start up like a choir publishing, like what is it, like a certification mill? Like we could start giving people degrees and just selling these kind of things, like there, because there's been a bunch of these like seminaries that are just diploma mills.
Yeah, and for sure. Yeah. Have you ever wanted to be a voice in the choir?
Oh yeah, I love it.
We can make itself. The copy writes itself.
Okay, so we from the three of us, we at least have to take some sort of a cut off of everyone that happens.
Oh, absolutely.
From Keith.
If you're listening now and you're interested, shoot an email to Keith Giles at Choir Publishing and tell him you want in on the Snarky Seminary, and you could be the dean of the school and be the Snarky Seminarian.
It's Chancellor John though. John is he's our beloved that we will. We'll make golden statues of him on campus.
All right. Okay. There we go. We go. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of megachurches, apparently that's a place where you can seek safe haven when you've been unchosen.
That's true. There. Yeah. Because if we're going back to the book, because we're going to assume all of the megachurch folks, they're all in heaven. So
but those churches should still be fully staffed.
They should,
because none of those suckers are making the cut.
No. Well, they will be fully staffed. They would be.
And you can go to. Joel Osteen's church is in a former baseball stadium, so that thing seats like 40,000 people. It is.
It's amazing the shit that they shovel on a weekly basis. It's lucrative though.
It is.
I think this is fantastical.
All right, John, we have our plan.
Yep. That's just now. We just got to move it forward.
It all starts with a bass player.
It does. Everything starts with a bass player. John, lay down that funky groove, would you?
Lay down the funky groove, yeah.
Doom, 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 doom. You know, little Barney Miller. Doom, doom,
I like that.
Doom, doom, doom. All right.
That's by founder John Turney.
That's right.
Of Megachurch.
Drop that record needle and do a little wick on that thing, and we'll see how that goes. So, I don't know. I feel like we're making a mockery of this book, but I do like it.
This book is meant to be made a mockery of. It is.
Yes.
It is. That's the whole point. I think it's just going from anything, if you're talking about this, from anything to where, how do we survive? What is it like to live in hell? For those of us that do end up in hell. There's a whole chapter in how do you accessorize, how do you decorate, how do you make the most of it? But also the book tells you that heaven's not quite what you think it is too. There's a whole lot more bureaucracy in heaven. There's a lot more forms. There's a lot of HR. There's crypto. There's all of that's going on in heaven. And it's not quite what we think it is. So it's very litigious and lots of forms.
How is it litigious though if the lawyers are all in hell? I don't understand that.
Well, it all happens to be if you aren't filling out the forms correctly. So it's all about making sure you're doing everything to get where you want to be.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. I did watch a movie recently. I can't remember I was watching a movie, and it was basically you get to like purgatory type place, and then you have to choose your afterlife.
Eternity.
Is that what it's called?
Was it a rom-com? Kind of.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think it was Eternity. I think that's on Apple.
Like it was
TV.
like the one guy shows up and he like gets there way ahead of his wife and like waits for her, and then it just gets all bonkers and weird, and they keep trying to pressure him. Keeps having to go like sales pitches for one eternity or the other, and he had to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why that came up. Although it falls to me in the same sort of ridiculousness that is end times theory.
Oh, very much so.
That is anything where we think we know what happens when we die besides we take a long dirt nap. I don't know what we can. I mean, we can't say with any certainty what would happen.
But see, so in that movie, so people can choose different types of heaven to afterlife to go to. So I'm just curious, like, would the brothers end up in the same afterlife together based upon what kind of afterlife you would choose?
We would choose to live in eternal Beatlemania. I don't know. I feel like anything forever would suck.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the hitch in the whole movie was you could pick whatever, but then you were there forever. You're like, you pick the one. Can we change later? No. So I can't think of any place I want to go forever.
Right.
The way heaven was described to me as a kid sounds boring as hell.
Right.
And then even as an adult, it was like, endless worship service where we just...
Yeah.
That was, I remember that as a kid. Like, this was, because I was a kid that would be like, my parents had me at church as like Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights, Sunday nights as well too. And I remember like Sunday nights were like, you had like the B team choir also, not the good choir. And our choir, like the B team choir was, our A team was not an A team. So the B team was... It was, the B team was the people, like, they were the people Jesus would have hung out with. They were the lepers, musically and otherwise. But I remember, like, as a kid where I'm, like, 7 or 8, and my pastor being like, isn't this great? This is like on a Sunday night. I'm sweaty in a church in the South, and we get to do this for eternity. And for me, I was like, that sounds like hell.
Yes.
And so that was, I think, one of my first mentions of eternity and afterlife was like, this heaven that you guys are talking about sounds a little like hell. Your version of it. I don't know about it. I don't think I want to do this forever.
I'm up on stage on my like 15th refrain of I could sing of your love forever. And they're like, no, I don't think I could.
Or even like this is like Southern Baptist stuff to where, you know, like you do like, you'd sing verse 1 and verse 4, but like 2 and 3, those are like the dodgy verses that you're always like, what rhymes with Melchimesh? I don't know, but but it's those. But we would sing all of them every time.
It would be Melchizedek, by the way.
Thank you.
That's the one that rhymes with that. I don't know. That is so. That's weird. Yeah, it's
well, and then the music. Talking about music reminds me of you were talking about Satanic Panic.
Oh yeah,
that's stuff in the 80s where, and I did that thing where I took all of my records and all of my cassettes and I took them out in my backyard and I shot them all up with BB guns. Because it was all evil music. I tried to get rid of it before it controlled me.
Or the backmasking? Did you?
Yeah.
Do
you remember going over? What was that guy's house and we listened to that? It was. I don't remember what it was. A Led Zeppelin.
It was. Oh, I remember.
And he played it backwards for us.
That son of a. He played Prince and he played Led Zeppelin. Because and Prince's is real.
Purple Rain.
He did it because he did it on purpose.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's. There's no way that wasn't intentional. Because it's like harmonized. Anyway, and I think it is on Purple Rain. But the Led Zeppelin one is just like, man, you spin any record backwards long enough and you're going to hear Satan. You see? You know, okay, fine, you made an intelligible word. But have you ever heard of a guy named Rich Wilkerson?
Mm-mm.
So David Wilkerson, you might remember, wrote the book, The Cross and the Switchblade.
Okay.
And that was, 70s? Bullshit story about, growing up in a gang or something like that. It was... Eric Estrada made a movie starring Eric Estrada of Chips fame much later.
You've arrived. Estrada's there.
But his brother was Rich Wilkerson. He was like a traveling evangelist, and he came to our town. And my mom dragged me to 2 or 3 nights of this hellfire and brimstone preacher. And it was 99%. Like, it was youth groups from the area that came, and he was mostly preaching the evils of that rock and roll music. And so he had a record player on stage, and he was playing this stuff backwards. And I did the same thing. I took I'd gotten back into collecting records, and I remember taking my whole record collection. It was like, I could just donate them. Like, no, then I'm going to be, just pushing my evil onto somebody else. So I've spent the last 25 years trying to replace those records and put them back. Because, what a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, it's insane. Like I don't like I was raised in a house where it was like secular music was bad, and Christian music is good. And I was like, I don't like Christian music, so I just didn't listen to music. And for the longest time, it was like I feel like for me was like my like teenage porn was like B&G music and Columbia House,
man.
being able to
Columbia House.
Because I could figure out how to get, like, I knew I would get home sooner than my parents would notice the mail. So I could get my, like, you know, like, oh, I got to get my fix, get my CDs. Yeah. But my weird one was, it's not quite as bad as yours, even though I think my example of having to destroy music is I think tops you. You can tell me or not. Back in the days of dial-up and Napster, I had such a large library of Napster music as well too. But then being convicted that is stealing, you have to do this. And when you were downloading music from Napster over dial-up, it would take you 30 minutes, an hour for one song if it went through.
Yeah.
If it went through.
I remember when because after Napster there were two
LimeWire.
One was called LimeWire, one was called Kazaa. And they were both, I forget what's the word for them. They were torrent downloaders. So you were downloading from maybe 100 different sources and it would piece it together. But I would say like 28 dial-up, I would click like 200 songs to download and go to bed. And then, get up in the morning and go, woo, 20 of them came through.
I remember it was the saddest time because I was like I was working for a church. It was like my first job in ministry and being like, oh God, I'm stealing. This is what's happening. And you're deleting all of this. It was so much time. It's so sad. Like, just watching it delete. Oh, this pirated music. I did so much work to pirate this.
I did more work to pirate this than the musicians did to create it. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. I had a friend when I was in the military who came over to my house one day and was like, I got to show you this. This is my new invention. And MP3s had become pretty popular. He actually had not a dial-up, but he had one of the first DSL lines installed at his place. And so he shows up and he's got this van. And in the back of his van is a desktop computer mounted to the side of the van. And then he's got a 10-key keyboard coming up to the front where he drives. And then it's all to control the music on his computer. He just had to know the number of the song in whatever music. He was like, this is going to revolutionize how we listen to music in vehicles. And like a month later, the iPod came out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking that. He was a genius. But
it's like, these only cost like $500 to manufacture. You can do this and this and this. I'm like, that's amazing. And
oh gosh.
Yeah, it wasn't too long before. Now we all have, fucking computers on our phones, and yeah. It's crazy. I don't know. We're all going to hell, but we're going to hell with technology. So thankful for all of that. So let me ask you a serious question. As you're surveying the landscape, bringing us back to the book again, because want to be a responsible podcaster. Are we making predictions about the Antichrist? Trump's too easy. It's not Mike Pence. He's too mealy mouse to be that.
No, okay. So I feel like that if we look back to this stuff, who's the Antichrist? Who could it be? I mean, I figure like we're like, it's us. It's humans. We're the horses of the apocalypse. We are the harbingers of the end. We are marching ourselves towards this, and I feel like that good Lord, we've had enough like sci-fi written over the last 100 or more years that has been warning us of the collapse of where we're moving towards. And if we need scripture to make it seem more realistic, or to say, "Ooh, look, prophecy," and not look in the mirror at ourselves, I think we're fooling ourselves pretty badly. It's not Trump. Trump is too obvious. Trump is too stupid. For that to be the answer. It's too much on the nose. But it is amazing how much they have pretty much laid out all of their like pop culture, like end times paranoia. He does very much fit what they've been afraid of, which the crazy thing is,
absolutely,
they'll never admit it. But I mean, really, all this, like the Left Behind series, whether it's the books or the movies, they're so ridiculous. But it does set up him as a paradigm, like for looking like this. And I will say, I do not believe that. I think Revelation took care of itself back in the time when it was written. But at the same time, there is the Antichrist getting wounded on the side of the ear and all this other stuff. So who knows? But I don't know if they mentioned the Antichrist being incontinent or having like a little thimble mushroom dick, or I don't know.
Hands slowly sloughing off skin.
Oh yeah, I think that would have been good prophecy material, right? Like his right hand, and it was wounded, and this flesh was falling off of it, as if he was sundowning and losing his mind. I don't know, but
sounds like it came out of like some piece of Star Wars canon. You know, maybe it's like the whatever that Emperor, what's his name?
Palpatine, yes.
Emperor Palpatine.
Palindrome works too. That kind of works. Yeah.
Emperor Palindrome over there.
Not to cut this short, but as technology is being a bitch to us and not being very nice, I guess we will call it into this conversation and just say thank you for coming on to the podcast. We've absolutely had a blast, an absolute blast. I mean, this has been comedy and laughs, which is something I think we need at this time. Yeah.
Well, and I will say one thing too, as you guys are close out. So we have the book.
Yes.
But you know what I didn't mention?
Right.
There's also a coloring book.
What?
Yes.
That is part of this, and it has end time scripture references, but like this one. And I saw the lamb open one of the seals. It's a lamb stabbing a seal open. So for both, we have this coloring books, this audiobook coming out.
Audiobook coming out, man.
Yes,
the Tribulation Survival Guide. That's great.
If you want to find me, look up snarkyfaith.com. It's easier to spell than Stuart Delony, but
that's right.
That's how you find me.
Podcast is great as always. The book is fantastic.
Podcast is great.
I didn't know about the coloring book. Now I want a coloring book. Send this to your atheist friends. Send this to your evangelical friends. It'll be great gift giving material. But all right, Stuart. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for listening to This Is Not Church. Be sure to rate and review the podcast on your platform of choice. If you would like to partner with us, visit patreon.com/thisisnotchurch, where you will receive exclusive content such as early access to episodes, videos of upcoming episodes, and live Q&A sessions. Be sure to check out our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter and Instagram. All the links are in the show notes. We'll be back soon with another episode.